So this meeting is being recorded for our public records and will be posted on the Arlington County Commission Meetings YouTube page. Avoid sharing any personal information that you would not like to be made public.
We have 2 people that need to be on video.
Can everyone turn on their camera? Oh, I think Helen's having an issue with hers.
Okay.
Let me see. They're typing. I also can't seem to unmute, not sure why. So I enabled your mic and camera, so you should be able to do it. If not, let me see if I can.
What if you just touch it? See what our mic is?
Say what? There we go. Okay, so I'm kind of breaking. Oh, I'm not gonna see that. Okay, there we go. Did that help, Ellen? Okay, great. Okay, that's okay. So that'll be our little secret. I made them presenters.
Oh,
That's a no.
Okay, why don't we start with quick introductions to make sure everyone knows who we are and who's here and what. I'm Carolyn Romano. I'm the chair of the Commission on the Status of Women.
I'm Janine Finch.
I'm Marguerite Luter.
Courtney Sal, staff liaison.
Lisa Marcellus, commissioner.
Susan Strauss.
Argenda Gill. Go ahead, Grace.
Grace Freeman.
Helen. Oh, we can't hear you, Helen. Try making sure it's plugged into, or like reading the right mic. And Adriana, you can go. No, we can still can't hear you. Oh, and we can't hear you either, Adriana.
Huh.
If you see where her mic is muted, like if you, can you do that with your mouse and like touch it?
Oh, yeah.
Can you unmute that?
I know I can mute.
No.
Oh, did it do it?
I would check.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, it's doing it, but it's something, I would check, but make sure that Teams is using your microphone that's built into whatever.
So if you click on the drop, where it says mic and the arrow down, you can, do the setting like Janine was saying. Sure.
When you started the recording, there might have been a pop-up that said they like need to consent. to
Oh, that's a
having
good-
their-
Yes,
their
I had
audio
that.
used, so if they didn't click on that, then maybe that's why.
Oh, Grace consent. I mean, Grace worked, hers worked.
The only thing I can recommend, if you guys come back in, maybe that'll fix it.
Oh, technology.
Okay, well, we can go ahead, right?
All right. Actually, I might take the agenda out of order so that we can benefit our guests with the more fun stuff. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve. I'm just having pat myself on the back for doing the May meeting minutes in time to get them approved at the June meeting. We will not put ourselves in a position we were in before. Have Courtney coming after me for 12 months worth of minutes. I am committed to keeping up on them. So if you could please look at your May minutes. You know, if you have any changes to them. I'm very hardy.
Did we already do April?
Yeah, we approved a ton of minutes at the last meeting, yeah.
Oh, I see, I was like, oh, February. Hey.
Hello.
Adriana, do you want to try again? This week.
This is Adriana Lopez. Oh, yay.
Okay, any, I forget how to do this, how do we do it?
Motion to approve.
Yep, need that.
Without you.
All right, all in favor of approving the meeting minutes with no edits, May 8th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we still have February hanging out there. Because we could not, it was really about attendance, we could not.
I attended the February one, so I can be marked as in person for February.
Awesome. Hey Grace, do you remember what you were doing in February? February 13th, to be specific.
No, I'm pretty sure I was on that one. I'll double check my calendar. I also feel like we talked about this one at the last meeting, this February 13th.
We did. We didn't pass it because we couldn't seem to figure it out.
Right. It was the one where we thought there was going to be a snowfall, and
Right.
so we were trying to make it virtual, but so we had a combination of things. Some people came in person and a couple of
I'm
us.
90% sure I was there because I live super close, although today I couldn't get out of the office, so I'm not close, but I'm 90% sure I was there.
I think you were in person also, and Ginger, you were virtual.
Yep.
If that's the week we had a 2 days, no,
Yes,
I wasn't here.
correct.
Were you on virtual?
No,
Had family duty. at
right,
the
it
time.
coincided
Yeah.
with your, I remember that.
Yeah,
So we don't know about Arbora. We don't know about Sasha. Laurel, do you remember what?
I wasn't here.
Senior was absent. I don't think we had her official resignation yet. And we know Julia wasn't here.
The question marks for Jay, Sasha, and Arbora. I guess one option is to update them with updates that I just got from you guys, which was Lisa and Grace were here. Gender was virtual. Laurel was not here. No Susan, Julia, or Xenia. And then we can leave the others blank.
Yeah, and we can update at a later time and we can say that in the approval of it in our minutes. But the event planning, we should put something under there. And I mean, it almost looks like, so what did we do, right? Because there's nothing under there. But we know we finalized all the details.
Yeah,
Should I try to finalize all the details?
finalized details for the event, and I think Jade was here during that event too, because isn't that when she brought the bunny?
Not on the 13th.
Oh,
Because you were here for the Bonnie Marguerite.
Yes, I was.
okay.
You're right.
And so I'm gonna add finalized details for venue, catering.
Yeah, I also have February 13th is our budget prep meeting.
Mhm.
Oh, good. Yeah, good catch. We also finalized the WOB program that night.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna update these and send them out for the next meeting. It's too much to handle, I think, by verbal edits.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Dang. To be continued. Okay, well, there's item number 2 out of the way. I don't think we have to vote on not voting, right?
Correct.
Okay. Let me take up a couple other items just real quick. I attended, Margaret and I were both invited to the Long Range Planning Committee update effort for the long range plan. That was called, anyway,
Sounds good.
man, that was a long meeting. It was 2+ hours. And they walked through, they're not updating all the plan, but really just the introductory chapter is what they described, which has some goals and objectives. The additional updates will come later on. So it really was a lot of talking about
Bless you.
about the they use the APA, the American Planning Association guiding principles as sort of the, we'll call them like foundational goals, sort of statements for any community planning. And it was a whole lot of reacting and wordsmithing, if you will, to those statements. So it was, you know, two and a half hours of my life. However, there were a few places where I was able to provide something other than starting comments. And specifically relating to, there's one, let me just read the items off you. Number one was a livable built environment. 2 was interwoven equity. 3 was harmony with nature. 4 was healthy and safe community. 5 was resilient economy, and 6 was responsible regionalism. In the place where I chimed in, I guess that was something other than starting comments, was about health and safety community, because they had it described as like your community is safe and therefore you are. And some others chimed in and saying they applauded what I said, but they added to what I was saying, which was about personal safety and how one individual may feel in any given environment versus do we have streetlights and do we have enough police and these kind of things. And I also highlighted for them that access to justice, both from a victim standpoint and equitable justice as a perhaps a defendant or whatever, would also be an important component to that your justice system isn't what it should be, that's overall not a safe community. There was also, we talked about the word denizen came up a lot.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know, I think I've heard Arbor use it before, but it sounded very high-minded. I think it means the community writ large, so more than just the people who live here, but also people who work here, who pass through here, who drive the roads and avail it. But the fact that 2 very intelligent women sitting right here at this table didn't know what it means, I thought, one of the things I suggested was to use language that people actually use if you want this to be something the community feels seen and heard in. Climate change seemed to be somehow an element of every single one of these 6 things, instead of just being a focus of one. And there were a lot of climate advocates there who seemed to think that climate change was, in fact, the only threat to our community. And there were some of us around the table who tried to help them understand that, especially in today's day and age, where we might all agree that climate change is a threat, it's not going away, whether we deny it or not. We might not have predicted what is in fact a real threat today to a lot of people's lives, safety and security. And so just blindly trying to have this whole like green environmental thing for long range planning seemed to ignore and not provide flexibility for dealing with other threats as they arise.
Was the focus on climate change our contribution as a county? Because climate change is not something we can control for something as small as the county. It's, I mean, even the state of Virginia would have been a better notion to reckon with in our county long range.
I think the air better just for Arlington.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, but the tree canopy.
That's right.
Right.
That's
And
right.
biophilia,
What's that?
another word that was thrown out. And again, one that, I mean, I know it's biophilia, no, high-minded, denizen, stop. And I wrote climate change is not the only or primary threat to our community. Anyway, so bless the hearts of the staff who work for the planning office in the county who were having to field all of this feedback and did so in a way that was just, the woman who ran it, I don't know her name, maybe I wrote it down, really took it all in stride. They're also doing community workshops and had done some like focus groups with different community members and stuff. Their plan though, and what they were asking us in the end after all this feedback, was to help them with communicating about this effort and some of the community engagement efforts that will be coming forward. So like right now, I think there was like an open survey thing for feedback and they'll be doing more stuff. I didn't raise my hand and bring it up because honestly, it was 2 hours long and I just was afraid things would go even longer. But like, I wanted to say, like, do you want us to talk about this at the fair? Like, that's when we do a lot of outreach. Are you guys gonna be at the fair talking about this stuff? Because it is gonna bleed into the fall, but we're on their list now. They'll have additional outreach and meetings. Keep you guys posted. Definitely not a waste of time, but it felt exhausting.
Maybe it was too much for one. sit
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Carolyn, what did they say about nature? It's unusual to have that as part of planning.
Well, the environment is always a big
Well, yeah,
part of,
Right. It should just be a separate category though, as opposed to
yeah.
taking away from all of the other categories.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole category about harmony with nature.
Again, translation.
should we go touch the grass?
Yeah, inhale.
Um, yeah, some of the things that were sort of left out that were noted was education, governance, and fiscal responsibility.
Those were left out.
So Margaret's gonna go to the next one. And, let us know what she thinks.
I feel like you're very like even tempered, and that was like the most like
Yeah.
aghast thing I think I've ever heard from you.
Also the commissioner who led it, so not the Arlington County employee,
Of the planning commission person.
yeah, who sort of ran the meeting, but the other person was the presenter. She was awesome. And they were complete opposites, right? The person, the county employee who was taking on him was very good and professional. The other person had zero tolerance for anything in an awesome way. She said like, first we're gonna, first I'm gonna open it up to clarifying questions. And all these freaking hands go up like on the virtual and around the room. I'm sitting there going, and usually my unless I have something very, very important to say, if I have anything to say, I usually wait and let everybody else talk first. And 9 times out of 10, someone else is going to get the point, so I don't need to be heard. That's just me. And so she very quickly started shutting people down for that's not a clarifying question, that's a comment, save it for later, save it for later. And she took control of the meeting. She also was putting people in their place about, I guess some commissions had more than one person show up.
Ooh.
And if
Not on her watch.
Yeah, when she got wind of
Yeah.
that, she was like, so therefore, second person from that commission becomes a member of the public and you get to speak at the end, so you can leave your comments till the end. Anyway, I just was appreciative of the no nonsense. Who knows how long the meeting would have gone on had she not enforced the rules, but it was impressive. That's what I have to say about that. Now, that's that. We want to talk about our first item, which is follow up to the county fair planning meeting that some of you guys attended with Arbora. I have her notes, but I also just wanted to say, really grateful for the notes because Marge Stigner reached out to me this week and asked, hey, are you the right person? I was wondering if you have any notes and things from, how you guys do that outreach at the county fair and you get information and stuff. Do you have anything from that I can look at? And I was like,
Do I?
yeah. So I pulled up all the stuff that we had done. I think we have it. I think each year we make it comprehensive the years before. So I just gave her the most recent one. And then she said, are y'all doing it again this year? And I said, you bet your butt we are. I said, in fact, the team just met and I have some notes from it. Long and short, I shared some of that with her too and said it was still draft, that we were still working it through, but this was kind of conceptually where we were headed. She said that now is tabling at Nova Networking, something or another, asked if we were, and I said, never heard of it, so I'm assuming that we're not. And she wanted to know if she could use our stuff, like our prompts and questions and things for that table. And I said, absolutely, I don't think there's any problem with that whatsoever. There's nothing proprietary about it. And I said, in fact, it'd probably be interesting to share notes, what you guys find. She said, for sure, we'll reach back after that. So that's that on now and Marge Signer and the fair. I was not at the meeting, but I do have her notes if someone else wants to do a readout from the fair planning and get us going on what we need to do next.
Ginger's one of our co-chairs.
Thanks for having the notes.
You are welcome.
And we had a really good meeting. One of the things we talked about is who could help staff the table during those couple of days, and we have a list of names. And I don't see Helen on that back, but she will help support. So I think we're pull by a chip in the glass. So that's what we were going to do again, similar to last year. We came up with a couple of questions. There was a lot of good brainstorming. One of the questions was, what would you like the county to do on behalf of women and girls? And, free tampons in all bathrooms, ensure 100% pay equity by gender for all county jobs, and publish the data. And a lot of this is just thoughts and we can narrow it further down, which is probably what we want to do. Provide all reproductive healthcare in county. Expand incentives for employers to provide childcare and flexible work options. Safe spaces, well lit streets. You mentioned having that conversation earlier.
Can I jump in on one thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, three things actually. One, I wasn't there. Apologize. I actually intended to join. I hope it goes without saying that I'll attend any and all sessions and provide all the support that I've done in the past for the fair.
We have you down for that.
Okay. Second, I also really like that with the jars, we're sort of saying like, we're almost taking things we've heard before and narrowing the vote and saying, okay, here's some of the things we've heard before. Like if you had to put all your chips in one jar for the county to take action, I think it's a great way to try and hone in on some of the issues, especially the ones that tend to repeat. And then reproductive care access, just reminded me at that meeting, somebody else brought it up about healthy and safety communities. And they said, how healthy and safe are we if you can't get an abortion within the county lines? And I was like, go dude. It's a man too, just, that's always good. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted this.
Nope. Important points. Question 2, what resources do you wish existed for women locally? And we had, talked about what are some of the possible answers, and that's what abortion, affordable therapy, mental health, rape kits, better support information for victims of violence, regardless of immigration status. Yes.
If I could just add for context, since they weren't there, what we were trying to do is not ask the same questions that we've asked for the last 3 years and potentially get the same kinds of answers. So we were trying to bucket things in more overarching questions and say, okay, at the end of the day, we got to figure out which field do we really want to be a part of, and then what are the possible sub-questions under that. And there was a lot of support for the idea of trying to find out from people, what is it that you want the county to do? Sorry.
No. Employment search help, targeted investment workshops. Those were like some other thoughts. And then, how we have the little board with the sticky notes and 2 questions there that we thought about is, in one word, how would you describe the status of women and girls in Arlington? And then 2, name a local woman who inspires you.
In both cases, it was unanimous that that's what we want the sticky note to be. So what still has to be decided is the jars and what the questions are going to be and how that's phrased. But the 2 sticky note things, we all just jumped to that. And we might have some undated nomination forms and criteria for people who start putting women's names on the board for Name a Woman. And just say, it's coming 2026. So here's some preparatory information so that you can get ready to fill in a nomination.
Subscribe now.
Yeah, we can collect email addresses and add them to our.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, we should do that. Do you want to leave your contact information?
Sure.
Yeah.
We should have that on the table regardless.
Yeah. I won't be there.
We usually do have that on the table.
Oh,
but-
okay.
I won't be there unfortunately because my mom was turning 80.
Oh,
And but I was thinking, I wonder if I was thinking about your digital display, and I know that didn't quite work out how we wanted it to for Take Back the Night. But I thought because it didn't, because you had to take the TV out of your house, right?
Yeah, but that was super easy. It's right back where I took it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I took the base off and
Okay. Well, yeah. So I was thinking if maybe we could utilize that again, to do like a scroll, like here, like a short slide of like, here's what we do throughout the year. Like, what is the women vision? Some sort of PowerPoint. So I could put a PowerPoint together,
Yes, please.
but I cannot be there to help set up.
And then I need to download Adobe to my computer, whatever that problem was.
Oh, yeah. We'll need a computer to run
It's
it.
fine. And
Leave it there all weekend.
no, I pick it up every night.
But you don't need it like during the day.
Cool.
Sorry, what's the computer for?
Oh, to run.
Showing a PowerPoint of Women of Vision.
Got it.
Yeah, or other stuff that we do.
Just the
Yeah.
mission. Yeah.
And I think that's good too, if people are walking by or when they're stopping to take some stuff, they kind of see things and that might prompt them, instead of us having to do the whole dog and pony show, what do you do?
Oh, yeah, that is like, what is that? You know, or something to,
That's cool. Okay, we're going digital babies.
love it.
I am gonna leave the TV there tonight, but nothing's heavy. And we don't have the white iced tea people to help us.
I'm just gonna give them all the snacks.
They were on something, whatever.
Yeah, it was,
But they were very kind.
So I think swags, candy, stickers.
This is where we have Caroline's name.
Yep. Does that work?
I have the bags, there's a ton of bags left over, to take back the night and I'll just make more.
Okay. If you need help, let us know.
Yeah, I can help before if you want to do an assembly night or something.
Yeah.
Or you can just give me the supplies and I'll do it.
So one of the other things we have to do is figure out who's gonna help when. We can send that by email. I don't think Arbor sent that.
Not yet,
I
but
can
we
put
did
that
say we want to
together.
build the schedule.
What are the
So-
shifts like? Is it are we there all day for the?
It's like a 3-hour shift or 2-hour,
Yeah, I can,
2-hour shift or 4-hour shift, however,
Yeah.
if Ginger's gonna put it together, it's however she puts it together.
right.
We start Friday at,
In the evening around 5, I think.
I think it's around 5, but setup will be before that, so there is also a setup shift. And we end on Sunday middays. I never do Sunday.
I think it's Sunday till like 4, but it usually dies down.
And you just say what shift you're going to work.
Yep. When we send the email, you can just add your name to it. I think that's all, that's the debrief.
The one other thing is we want to plan one more separate meeting, and I told Arbor I would bring that up sometime between July 15th and 31st to finalize the open items.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
For the signing up for the shifts, I don't think I've provided my email, but I offered to support. Who do I email so that I can be added to like the group?
Yep. Can she type her email in the chat? And I can,
Mhm.
can you put it in the chat and I'll get it from Courtney?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for helping and she did join as well.
We just have to make sure when we're putting the shifts together for that there's sufficient commissioners assigned to the shifts alongside people who are volunteering but are not officially commissioners.
And just, well, somebody flagged this for the, I made name badges for us one year, but I need to update them, I think. And that one woman tried to make us all wear the same t-shirt one year, but otherwise I think we just want what we want.
Yeah. I think, what was it? I think, they had just done the new, Stay Arlington logos or something. There was like a new logo or something. So I think that was part of the thing, but
Yeah, she marched right over to me and said, here's a t-shirt, put it on.
Mm.
I had an abortion access t-shirt on with a giant coat hanger.
That's probably why she wanted to.
And she used to mind her own, but it didn't have any bad words or naked people or nothing on it.
what can you send a link for
It says never again. We'll make those be our matching shirts.
We usually do get, and last year we got some Arlington County Fair t-shirts for those who are interested in putting them on, but
Yeah.
we, nobody insisted we put them on last year. Yours was probably.
I'll see if I can
targeted
provoke someone.
request.
Well, and then there was also the, if you recall, this was 2 years ago, the first day and I came dressed all cute, ready to go. Arbor definitely will, because it ended up on the board. And I had on a top that was a little bit off the shoulder. So I was like, oh, I'll just not wear a bra because who cares? Like you can't see it. And it was blousy in the front. So, and I'm not a very bosom, this is exactly what they probably want on the recording. And during the setup, we got so hot and sweaty, and I hadn't realized that one of the side benefits of actually wearing a brassiere is to catch your sweat. And if you're not wearing one, it just pulls into your shirt. And Arbor looked down and goes, and I was like, oh no. I had to text my husband to bring over a strapless that I could put on too, for no purpose other than to just collect the sweat. And so, and one, I saw notes from 2 years ago, boob sweat. You know?
Hey, it's a fact of life.
It was all facts that day, so. Those are the things I seem to remember from the fair. Okay, well, I think we're going in a really good direction. I'm excited for the targeted polling for sure, and I also love the questions for the stickies. It's gonna be awesome.
July 15th to 31st, anybody have a preference, day of week?
In August.
July 15th to 31st for our next
Oh,
separate
sorry.
meeting,
Sorry.
which will be virtual over Teams. But in order to get it out in the public that we're having a special meeting, we want to do it in advance. If we wait till the
Right.
July meeting to pick the date, we lose the benefit of those early dates because you have to, is it 10 days notice? 10 days notice.
Can we have a guest speaker on the meeting of the 10th?
Yes.
I was gonna say, why don't we just call up that meeting? On July 10th, instead of having a separate meeting, but.
Is Arbor there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It might be why we went with something afterwards because she's
Right.
not going to be there. It was really fine doing a special meeting. It was virtual. It was at night. Everybody was comfortable. We were very efficient. So I'm saying, let's just put it on the, date. Anybody have a preference?
Let's go with July 24th, Thursday.
Thursday, July 24th?
I may
Are
not
you
be
there?
able to dial in, but.
I'm traveling between the 19th and I think
We definitely want Jinder to be there.
Yeah.
She's one of the co-chairs.
You said from the 19th until,
the following weekend.
okay, so we're looking at the last week of July then.
Yep.
All right, 20,
Well, 15th, what
before.
day of the week is 15?
Tuesday.
16, 17.
So
So
closer to the 15th.
17th or of, which is a Thursday.
We do
17th
July
will work.
17th. And it should be fairly short.
All right, July 17th, virtual.
Which gives us more time. If somebody has a brilliant idea that requires a little work to get it set up, that gives us more time.
This
Gives
will
us
remind me to
one
get
month.
my Amazon purchases done too. In time. Not that I'm waiting till the last minute. That's ridiculous.
Okay, it'll be on Teams. It's open to anybody. We could also have other volunteers from the public who decide to join, but we'll finalize all of the open questions that Jinder talked about. And so that would be your chance to come now or forever. Hold your peace. And we should have the shift schedule done by then,
Yep.
so we can review it.
And the choreographed dance that we're gonna do, we'll have those steps mapped out or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's difficult to do virtually. Dang.
What's the choreographed dance?
It's a joke.
You were like, I'm ready.
I've been learning all the line dances.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that.
We can do it right in front of our table.
That's perfect. That was the best response. She was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Got my TikTok set up.
I found my call.
And then once we've done it at the fair, it'll be really easy to do it when in vision.
Yeah,
Good way to get people to the table.
Yeah.
no doubt. I'll wear a bra for it too.
Did we have 2 questions last year for the chip jar?
We did. We said, what's the best thing about being a woman or a girl? and what's
Not for the chip jar.
What's
For
the
the chip
hardest thing?
jar.
The open-ended one's the best thing and the hardest thing about being a woman?
No,
Yes.
where they,
For the tip jar, it was just one question and you had like 5 choices.
Okay.
yeah.
So which is why we have to narrow down what we're gonna do with the chip jars.
We also needed more chips last year.
Oh, good point.
Like it was just the bingo chips, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and we just kept we kept
Yeah,
counting
yeah,
them and
yeah.
adding it to the sheet and then reusing them, so.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they could last a day at least.
Or just to see like over the weekend, like I think just to see them
Watching
maybe
them
more
fill up.
fill, yeah, that might be a,
And maybe we'll do something
Interesting.
besides mason jars. And anyway, but we'll need it to be a little bit bigger if we want it to last.
All day.
I had something. I'll get on that.
Goldfish bowls.
Yeah, don't tell Arbor we're gonna get more chips because she's anti-plastic.
Hmm.
Don't react.
is it biophilia?
It's fine. Philia, biophilia. I mentioned, are we done with the fair for now?
So we have 2 questions, right, for the chip jar. What would you like the county to do on behalf of women and girls in Arlington? And what resources do you wish existed for women locally?
We
So-
did not decide between the 2.
Yep, so.
If you have input, now would be the time to give it.
Okay, can you do it again? I don't need to give the answers, just the topics. Questions.
What would you like the county to do on behalf of women and girls in Arlington? And what resources do you wish existed for women locally?
I kind of like the second one. even though I'm biased and I kind of like the first one better, because
I kind of like the second one too, and I think the first one, we could even have that as there are a couple of other questions here that I think we could, as we're having conversations and engaging the community, we could ask them. Like that is one of the things you ask.
I like the first one only because then it puts people in the mind of, why are we doing this? We're giving something concrete to the board. That's what I like about it. As opposed to just collecting feelings, which is what we have done for the last 2 or 3 years.
And then what kind of resources, how wide are we intending?
Well, that would be with number 2, but
Right,
yeah,
right.
you'd have to, we'd have to, the subcommittee would have to narrow the field down so it didn't get too broad, but.
Right.
But I liked number
okay,
1.
yeah, I like number 1 too.
Okay. That's good.
We'll focus our attentions on number 1. We do need to modify the language a little bit.
Yeah.
At least the tampon one, which is a menstrual product.
Yeah.
But I didn't read more closely than that. Okay, is that all for the fair?
Yep. I think that's it. I'll send around a schedule of volunteers so you can start thinking about when you're available to help.
And I will not get sick this year. In fact, my beach vacation, which is what preceded, got me the first little bit of sick before I got big sick. That week beach thing is happening in 2 weeks. We're not doing it in August this year, so I moved it just in case. No, it's not why. But anyone was worried. And
And I want to remind people that Caroline did more while she was sick.
Right.
Than many commissioners have done all year.
Absolutely.
when I was looking at the July and August calendar just now to see my availability, I noted that my 1 year follow-up with the pulmonologist is on August 8th, so hopefully she'll give me a clean bill of health before I go and put myself on the ground again. So triggered. If we're done with fair, I have one other thing.
Yep.
I mentioned we have a guest speaker coming, do we?
She is the first national director of NOW. She also, which is what she wants to talk about, National Center for Women's Innovation. She's formed that, so she'd like to see if there's any alignment, but just fill us in and get the word out, basically.
Can you repeat what she is now again?
First thing, she was the first national executive director of NOW years ago, and recently, most recently, she opened the National Center for Women's Innovation. Right now, she has over 200 women that are unknown, and they're trying to get a database.
So she'll start with telling us what that initiative is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, basically. She's also written a book on one woman who was the first franchisor of hair salons, which disseminated the concept throughout other fields. And a number of other things she'll fill in. And Carol, is there a time limit? Do you want her to stay like the first half? Does she have to leave after, if
Well,
we're
since-
doing more business?
Well, since we're open to the public, it's up to her how long she
Okay,
stays, but in
right.
terms of talking, how much time do you want to give her?
I don't know that we'll have much more than minutes unless we get a request from the county for legislative priorities, which sometimes comes that early in the summer. So I would, assuming we don't have much business, I would say we basically keep the meeting short to just her.
Okay, she is developing a presentation, which I've talked to Courtney about.
Okay, will she be in person?
Yes,
So mark the calendars for that date. I don't know.
the 10th.
10th, okay. I don't think we'll need quorum. Well, maybe it depends. Okay. But let's all try and be here in person if our guest is. And that's all I have. I want to open it up.
Oh, yeah, we need quorum because if we don't have quorum, we can't technically have the meeting. So
All right.
we do need quorum.
Now we're just oozing with quorum. Look at us.
I love it.
Okay. That's it for slated agenda items. Are there any other pertinent to CSW announcements? Anything else to discuss?
Oh, I was at a community event and I saw, Kiddist Ebenezer. She supported the Women of Vision. She's been a great supporter for the past few years. And she was like, I want to join. I don't know. She wasn't sure exactly what steps need to be taken. So I sent her an email. An email just outlining what the steps were. So hopefully she will get her application in.
Good.
Yeah.
I asked her at the WOV this year and
I
last
think
year.
we've been begging her.
And yeah, and JD, well, I think it was JD said to her she should join.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. So.
I'm sure it's one of those things that when she sees one of us, she's like, oh yeah, I need to do that. And
Yeah,
then
right.
she leaves and has 1,000 other things going on, because that's how my brain works.
And then totally forget. Yeah.
Any other announcements or updates from the group?
Denise said she also saw you somewhere. Oh, at a Columbia Bank.
Oh my gosh, yes, and we were like, I was like, so we finally figured it out, so yes, that was lovely.
Let me just throw this out there, and this is not for a discussion now, but maybe like calling on Arbora who's not here. I know that we were making some of us was making some concerted effort to try and get our outreach sort of a calendar and kind of a concept. So it's, I want to say almost like packaged and ready to go for different events. And it's something I was reading recently, and I was noting things. And then when Marge reached out about, oh, she didn't even know about the thing. I do want us to try and, as soon as the fair is over, and I know we have competing things, but let's really try and harness some energy around that. I think one, we definitely have commissioners who want to do that kind of thing, that it's invigorating for them to be out in the community and talking to people. So I think that's a good place to get people what they want, right? Let's program things that our commissioners want to do. But we do need to kind of put some, not guardrails around it, but I don't think we want to do it ad hoc. We want to try and target certain types of things and also have, kind of like we did the fair, some kind of ready to go material so that whoever's going is kind of,
Locked and loaded.
We have a
Yeah.
tabletop package that it's, you take this and go.
Yeah.
But then there's also the whole list of, which is what Arbor and I were supposed to be working on. Not supposed to be. We did some work.
Yeah.
We just stepped away because Women of Vision took over our calendars, and it was targeting, so who do we want to reach out to, and what is it that we want to say or do or collaborate with them on, or, so we need to figure out like an outreach calendar.
We have organizations that align with the legislative priorities that we put together last year.
We've looked at, so Virginia organizations, DMV organizations, commissions already existing. So we did a lot of that background research, which we did present at a meeting. We just didn't hone it in and say, this is what we think we should target over the next year or several months or whatever. So we need to come back with that.
Yeah.
So after the fair, Arbor and I could get back to presenting that.
Do you want to mention anything about the Council on Aging?
And so one thing we did do is we asked Susan if she would take some time and go through. The Council on Aging put together I think it was 50 pages of here's recommendations for seniors. I didn't have time to read it. And so I asked Susan if she would read it and see whether or not we had any opinion as a CSW on whether it's sufficiently focused on women, because they did do a study and there's more than 50% of the aging population in the county is women. And so our seniors are women adequately represented in what their actions were that they were recommending and actually have started executing. So they're out doing stuff. So we need to give that report as well. But Arbor and I haven't talked about it yet. Thank you for doing it so quickly.
And one thing, a place to start looking at, so not just, I mean, I think one avenue is looking at other organizations and community bodies and things that we could align with and support or partner with. But I think just really simply like someone looking at community calendars and event schedules and because it seems to me like I'll see an announcement for something and I'm like, oh, that would have been a great place for us to do a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you get enough advance notice of those things. So you can sign up to table or be a participant of it. And so maybe if we kind of map out, you know, whether we decide the first year to try and do something quarterly or every 2 months and just try and pick some stuff. And I think we'll learn like this wasn't. okay,
Right.
This was the wrong audience or whatever.
Yeah.
And do it that way too.
It's too bad there isn't a county calendar.
I'm just thinking about that. I thought there was a county calendar.
Yeah, I mean, it just has everything under the sun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a good way, especially if we started, like, if we looked back to the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
To see what we might have missed that we would want to participate, and then we can be ready for it the first part of next year.
Like, what is the thing that I actually saw 2 weeks ago that was like perfect that we, I don't remember. That's a good way to look for it.
Yeah.
Look back.
On kind of related to that is I had talked to Sasha around the Women's Commission, and we kind of need to do, like, I'm gonna say brand refresh, and I know that the county has their own stuff and that we need to, like, be aligning with that, but just like when we're putting out like materials, that there's some sort of like cohesiveness with it, whether it's, these are the 3 colors that we're using, or, we're just something so that when you see it, it's like, oh, that's the Women's Commission. Or that's, the Women Division or Take Back the Night, like, and not like, oh, no, that's what Caroline whipped up real fast in Canva, or what Janine whipped up real fast in Canva, or what we drew with our, which, and those are all good things too. So I'm not trying to say it like disparagingly, but I think it'll be easier I know I've sat in front of Canva and just been like, I don't know, I just need something to post right now, like, so that we have kind of a jumping off point. Yeah.
And from a task perspective, we have said for the last several events that we need to update our rec card. So
Yeah.
there's a couple of volunteers who might want to take a stab at that and then run past us.
And I know Canva has like the brand kits too. Where
Yeah.
you can create and save those templates. And
And share.
Besides the look of it, we
Yeah.
said we need to update the content too, make
Right.
sure it still represents what we want to.
Let me throw this out there. Hold on a second. What did we say? We're gonna focus on outreach, double down on that, community calendar plus partner, and then we said something else. Okay. Then the crack card. 2 things on that. Pretty sure I have an electronic version of it. I can share it if anybody wants to weigh in, or I can even take the first stab at updating it. I don't want to lie to y'all. Will I do it? No, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. Do we want to pay to have them reprinted? So I've done it before. I've reprinted it on paper for us before, which I can do at home, no cost. But the version that we had years ago was a glossier card, and that cost money.
what is this for? Like a pamphlet?
Our rec card.
Yeah, it's like a 1/2, it's a, on the front, it talks about like, how did it say? It talks about what,
Yeah.
Here's what the issues are that we address and
Just like who we are, what we do.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
if, just my thought. Let's get the content updated first, while hopefully somebody takes on so what should all our stuff look like?
Yeah.
And then bring the 2 together afterwards, instead of getting caught up in the what's it gonna look like? Which means we won't address the words until the very last minute, and therefore it won't get done when it gets transferred to the new one, because we haven't.
But maybe if we set a goal for like the rack card being like our first item to get it, so we get it for the fair, then this will.
Like a quick win.
Yeah, yes, a quick win, and at least we'll then have like colors, fonts, and a rack card.
If not, we just need to grab the old rec card for the fair if we can't get the new one done by then.
And you guys can also tell me that I'm wrong, and we don't need to do this, and
No, I
just
agree.
throw whatever out there.
Oh, no, I think it's a very nice idea.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing it
No, yeah.
because I don't wanna then have my hand in front saying I can get that done before then, so.
Yeah.
in terms of creating the brand kit, I'm with L'Oreal, it's fairly straightforward in Canva, but I also know myself, once I go down those rabbit holes, like I'll come up with too many ideas. It is a bit overwhelming.
Yes.
I can take a shot at something. The only thing I don't know is like, once it's created, is it able to share? Because I actually just looked at it and I was like, wow, I could really use this for a lot of things, but I've just never taken the time to set it up.
I don't know about the free accounts. I know with the paid accounts.
I have a
you can
pro.
share.
Okay, so
yeah,
but
you
if
can
I,
add people to your.
okay, without them having a pro account, okay.
But I have a pro account too.
Yeah, but if like, I don't know, if Jennifer
I don't.
didn't- yeah, exactly, see? Yeah,
All right.
that's all.
No purple, is what I say.
No purple?
I don't know, we reduced purple, and the last red card was purple.
Purple's a nice color though.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I also love purple. That's why I was like, wait. what?
Rock and roll, black and silver. Kidding.
And I will say, on behalf of Barbara and I, that by October, we should be able to come back to you with a report on two types of things. One would be from a community calendar perspective, opportunities for tabling, and the second is groups and organizations we should be collaborating with and what we're recommending we do kind of thing. So those two areas. There's a third one, creating like a tabletop package, which may be bigger than just Arbor and I's, like what should be in it, that we might just open it up for discussion and say, what else should we have in it besides our rack card? But we can do that together. But give us till October, because when the fair is over in August, we need, we need time to, we can't do it in a couple of weeks before the September meeting, so.
All right, anything else for the good of the order?
Go team.
Close this meeting at 8 o'clock and turn that recording off.
Courtney, did you get the email?
Oh, your email address.
I just forwarded it to you.
Oh, thanks. I was gonna write it down, but that's perfect.
Oh, do you want me to give it?